Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Seeing Beyond and Through with Monty. We're all now familiar with the unspeakable tragedy which happened a couple of days ago in Buffalo, New York. We're at a Tops store. A crazed, racist gunman shot down and murdered 10 innocent people and wounded others in a racially motivated attack. Now, this demon spoke with a black gentleman just the day before. And here's a little bit of that encounter from the gentleman's perspective.
Earlier this afternoon, we're going to get to that story, but you told me just a few moments ago that you actually spoke with the suspect yesterday. He was here. Tell me more about that.
I seen him, and he looked strange in the neighborhood, but he had a genius shirt on, so I wanted to see if he was a genius. And we sat and talked about string theory, critical race theory, beginning of civilization, and he seemed like he was a genius, actually. He said he came up just to see the countryside, and he was going to go out camping. He bought a big thing, a jug of water. He had a little nervous twitch to him. I bought him something to drink, and we sat and talked for about an hour and 45 minutes after seeing the pictures and seeing the blue car that I seen him got into yesterday. So it's a shock right now, and he told me his name was Peyton. So it's a shock.
And we did see a blue car get taken away from this scene just about a half hour or so ago. And you were saying that you were speaking with him on a bench that's located outside of this Tops.
Yes.
That's the bench that earlier today, when I first got here, you were the first person I spoke to. You were telling me that bench is your office.
Yes.
And you usually like to stop and sit there and talk to people that are passing by. Today you didn't stop.
Yes.
So walk me through.
Well, you heard that. So it just goes to show you that with racist, they can be cordial with you, with the black person. They can show courtesy towards you. They can even have a conversation with you. Let's go even farther with that. They can date you. They can marry you. They can fuck with you. All those things right there. They can even have children with you. It does not mean that they are not racist. It just simply means that many racists have the ability to store, contain, and control their racism. That's all it is. They know exactly what they are doing. They know exactly sometimes when they want to do something, as in this case right here. He had planned to do it the following day. Many times, in the case of this right here, him having a conversation with the black male, a racist thought patterns, behaviors are not constant. And that's what fooled Whoopi Goldberg with the whole Mel Gibson thing. Remember that? She said he can't be racist because he came over to my house, he had a conversation with me, playing with my children. Well, it wasn't constant. This is how they can interact with black people. And the innocent victims who were murdered just minded their own business, doing their own thing, and lives are left turned upside down where people would never be the same because of a deranged racist. But I want to bring out something to you. I want to talk about this victim here. Not because she's any more special than the other ones. All of them deserve our sympathy, their family sympathy, good wishes, goodwill, good vibrations thrown towards the family's way. But I want to bring out something with this particular female here, whose name is Roberta Dury, 32-year-old from Syracuse. She lived in the Buffalo area. She was helping out her brother, who have cancer. But I want to point out something to you. Just like in the case of Dante Wright, like Roberta Drury, is biracial. Both of them were gunned down by racists. And here's what I want to point out to you. I have made videos about this before. And black people, yes, you got mad about that. Primarily, it was the darker skinned blacks who got mad about that. Because I have stated that so-called light-skinned privilege is somewhat of a myth when taken out of the black community. I've made a couple of videos about that, and I've been trying to explain to you on here that a racist mindset does not give a damn if you are light-skinned or dark-skinned. They don't care. You being light-skinned is not going to change their behavior. It is not going to make them less racist. It's not going to make them any more merciful to you because you have a so-called white parent. I've been trying to explain that for the longest. But a lot of you you're so caught up in your cognitive dissonance, you don't want to be wrong, and you get very upset about that. I've had a couple of people who unfollowed after I made those claims and proclamations, which I still will, and I'll do more videos to that effect, because I believe that. And life, after time and time again, will prove that. This is the reason why when certain famous people claim that they are black, even though they're biracial, they identify as black, they know what they're talking about. I do not believe in kicking someone out of blackness because they have a white parent. Because at the end of the day, when shit hits the fan, if something were to come down, they are going to be treated like any other black person. What is so difficult to understand about that? A white racist is not going to see their white parent. In their mind, they see a straight up nigger. They do not make a distinction between light skin and dark skin. We as black people tend to make a distinction, but to a white racist mindset, there's no difference between Halle Berry, Tracy Ellis Ross, and Lupita Nyong'o. They see just three black women. There's no distinction. Black people, we are prone to colorism. White people are prone to racism. And racism, they would treat black people regardless of color, regardless of spectrum. They would treat them the exact same way. This is what I've been trying to explain. And those of you who have been riding with me for a year or so now, you see my other videos, you know how I stand with this issue right there. Yes. So this whole incident right here, it just goes to show that we need to think very carefully about denying people who are black and white, who say that I am black. We need to quit telling them that you're not black, because in the United States of America, they are going to have a black experience. You cannot stop that. Anyone who is black and white with discernible blackness will get the black treatment. White racists do not give a damn about your white parent or any white parentage. They don't care about that. They don't see that. In their mind, everyone with discernible blackness in them is black, and they're a threat to them. I don't understand why is that so difficult for some people to understand or comprehend. I've been known that, being raised around white people in elementary school, junior high, high school. We had biracial kids there. We had biracial students there. We had light skins also, all treated like black. But let me tell you one thing. When the racist mentality came out, all of them were called the N-word. So I think that this whole notion that somehow this light-skinned privilege is going to give you an advantage in white society, that's not true at all. It didn't give her an advantage. It didn't give Dante Wright an advantage. It's not giving Brittany Griner, who's stuck over in Russia, the basketball player, an advantage. They're not having any type of sympathy on her because one of her parents is white. You guys are foolish with that nonsense. If you somehow think that a white racist is somehow going to be more merciful to someone or going to extend an olive branch to anyone who happens to be mixed. That's the dumbest notion that I've ever heard of. Obviously, these are people, in my opinion, who have never been raised around white people to understand their mentality of how they view people. Yes, how they view people is completely different than the way that black people tend to view each other. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is another edition of Seeing Beyond and Through with Monty, and I will see you all beyond and through.